So UVI was so kind to provide me with the Worldsuite 3, so I didn't receive any money or something, so this is still my opinion and I'm completely free to make this video or not. And I wanted to show you how to make music with sampled instruments. So all these instruments, like in Contact, are recorded from real instruments and they recorded like different settings. How it exactly works behind the scenes, I don't know, but we will noodle around a bit with it today and see what we can come up and if that's usable in a Psytrance track. So let's go and noodle a bit around. So the first thing is we need to select an instrument, and I already selected this here. So Worldsuite 3, India, Sitar X, Sitar Real Expressive. There are many, but this one is, in my opinion, the one which sounded the nicest. And I put this on an external hard drive because this whole thing takes a lot of space. I didn't find an option when I installed it, but I just moved it then later and it worked. So in case you encounter this, and if you know how to install it directly to another hard drive, let me know in the comments for all the other guys. And let's start creating something. So we will go for one bar loop here first, and then we will extend it to 2 bars. So let's find what is nice. And I would go for a bit larger notes, like 1/8 or maybe 1/4, but we can also try maybe with 16ths later. So let's see. And down here we have some more like mysterious vibes, but I think it sounds better like from like D3 to D5 maybe, and I think there's also like a range in here, so let's see. Yeah, it's around from 2 to 4, which I think is the range which should be used, and the rest is then kind of like transposed. To be honest, I don't know, I just opened this, so I'm noodling around with you guys together here a bit. But let's say we have actually from here to here. So let's find a nice note to start with. I think this is too much of like one motion thing, so maybe we can make this a little bit more interesting. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I think we got something. So let's see if we take this and make this a bit more diverse. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I will stay with that one. So let's go a bit further. Now I want you to look a bit into the processing. So there's already some effects applied. To be honest, this is barely visible. I think the GUI could be improved here. So we will turn the reverb and the delay off and the EQ and we'll apply our own effects to it. But before, we'll check out a bit what you can do here. Yeah, here we can make it a bit more expressive. It also gets darker in color then. Let's stay here. Dynamic. Before we play a dynamic, I also want to add a little bit more human touch to this by having a bit random velocity, because I think somebody who plays like an instrument like that won't play it like perfectly each time. So let's put a bit of randomness in here. They should be off, but just... Then we have like a pitch bend here, and we will now utilize a few of the things here to make it even more human. So we will map the gain and the pitch, and I already did actually, because I tried it one time before I recorded this video, and it worked pretty well. So let's see what we can do here. We can put an LFO here. And we can map this LFO, for example, to the gain. And now it goes wild, and we don't want to have it that wild, obviously. So what you can do is you can reduce this here. So then it's already a little bit less. So I would put it like to maybe the maximum you want to go here. And then you can control it with the depth as well here. So we could, for example, go a bit down here, maybe like this. And also make this bit changing. And if you would have longer notes, like for example 1/4 note in here, then I would make this more changing on the longer notes, because it will be probably harder to play an instrument more stable over longer notes. I've never played an instrument, but that's how I would do it still. And we can put something here on the pitch, which is weirdly called pan, but I mapped it to the pitch. You can see that here. And the same here. So we can go a bit down and make it a little bit vibrato. And we could do this, that this is basically only on the end of the notes. So for that, I think we could do it with like an envelope follower. So we get like an envelope, and we want to have it like, the higher the envelope, the lower we want to have this with minus. There's like a minus option. Yeah, plus and then minus is minus. So you see it like appearing a little bit. Could also gain this. We're doing this reverse, so kind of like when the transient of the note there's like the most reduction, and when the transient gets away, we get more of the modulation. I think around here is good. So just like a little bit, otherwise it sounds like really off in my opinion. So now let's add back like a delay. That makes it more psychedelic, I would say, with the ping pong and everything, like the notes kind of like coming back here. And I think what could be really cool here is a grain delay as well. So very subtle. I don't think it's doing much, but it's doing a little bit. If we do it like this, it's more spacious, ambient. You put it like here, it gets a bit more close. Yeah, I think we are getting close to having something nice. So we can organize this like a little bit here. So that's kind of our space. That's our modulation. And yeah, then we pack everything into one rack because that makes it reusable. So now I think what could be interesting would be like to humanize it. And that's something which I would say is a bit of a controversy because Psytrance is super quantized. So usually I quantize everything. That quantize 100% of my tracks. But I could imagine on that thing, because it's like an instrument, to have a very, very slight humanization. So if we overdo it, like if we put like this, it will sound completely off, I'm sure. So let's check that. If we have it like here, like 20%, you can see it gets quite off the grid. Might be still okay because we put like in this room and everything. So compare. So I hope you have seen that it toggled. So let's make a comparison for you guys to see it more easy. I will call this red is with the humanization in here, and green will be quantized. So I quantize this back and then you can see which version is playing. So decide for yourself if you like it or not. I probably would go for less. So maybe just like a little bit, like 5% maybe. I think that could be totally okay. So you would need to see what amount you want to dial in if you want to dial in an amount in a highly quantized music like we have. And there's another thing which we could do to make it more interesting. We could add some pitch bands in here. So for example, having here MIDI controller pitch band, and for example, bend here towards the other note. Yeah, just let's keep this one. I think that's pretty cool. If we put it in here, what you also can do is to modulate stuff more on some parts or like offset it. So for example, let's say we want to have more of that tremolo here. We could make like an offset here. So that's also options you have. And what I think is also pretty cool on instruments, or like real instruments, because they are very dynamic and lacking a bit the power of a synth. So we could put like a synth underneath here and just layer that. So that would be an option to make it a bit more strong. You could look for like different waves, and obviously it would be nice probably if we would keep the same stuff here on the synth as well. I can also see if another wave fits better, for example, like a square. So that's up to taste. Just like if you want to make it stronger, you can shape that out and layer just like the same melody underneath. But I think we have actually something quite cool here, which we could use maybe like an intro break, and maybe not so much in a main section. What I would do here is just replace this melody with like a synth, which is really strong, and then let it come back maybe in the break with the sitar or in the outro. So there's a really cool track here, Sitar Vegas remix. You can check that out. They did that, exactly that. They have like a synth playing, and then in the end and the outro, they put it like with the sitar, which is pretty nice, I would say. And that's something you can definitely do with instruments like this, because here you're more free than if you're just having like a loop from, for example, Loop Cloud or Splice. So I use those as well, like in my tracks and intros and stuff. But this gives you much more options, kind of like to pick up like a melody from your track and redo it with like an instrumental version. And I think it's quite nice. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, and if you want to see more tutorials about sampled instruments, or if you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments.